What's up guys? Ito na naman tayo. Balik na naman tayo sa Stanley Parable 2. Hindi ko alam kung ito na yung last day natin ng paglalaro nitong Stanley Parable kasi hindi ko alam kung ano pa yung matadagdag. Kaya tingnan natin. So let's go. Bigyan na natin.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Skip na natin to. Kasi yan na lang naman yan eh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Kukunin ko ba natin yung bucket? Sige,
The
kunin natin.
confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Tignan natin ulit yung bucket. Alright, let's go. Saan na kaya tayo?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Sundin ba natin? Susundin ba natin? Teka, pag-isipan natin. Sige, sundin natin. May mga frames na yun yata yung nabago.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Tingnan nga natin. Hindi nabubuksan. Nabubuksan na yung broom closet.
Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
No.
I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong.
Yes.
This is your bucket.
I
This
will
is your
hold on to
companion
it.
and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that
Sarado
you
ko
and the
na.
bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends, that your relationship is purely superficial and convenient, that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
No. I take it. Yayakapin ko tong bucket na to.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, sige. Oops. Eto, nabubuksan na. Ba, may Aba! Dito nabubuksan na. Oh. Because the boss knows that... Uy.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? This is certainly the most logical explanation.
O, sige. Oh. Ito pa rin. Ganun pa rin. Kala ko nagbago eh. Baba na ulit. Ito na yung 2 kasi may kasama kang bucket. Kasi nung una, wala.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yes! Ganun pa din. Ano yung bago?
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Escape with the bucket? I'll escape with the bucket ba? Sige, escape with the bucket tayo.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Yan nga natin.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Up. I know. Balik tayo.
But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Nagbago isip ko. Sundin natin siya. Come on.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Tingnan natin. Tingnan muna natin to, susundin natin siya with the bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
At least I'm here with the bucket, diba? Come on.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Okay.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Papangalanan ko tong bucket na the narrator.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Sige na. Diretso na tayo. Pero wala pa rin tayong paa hanggang ngayon. Diretso. Subukan nga natin to i-on lang.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power,
Stanley
and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Turn on natin. Turn on.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
What's this? Flamingo. Birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the mental genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy. Ano, dito na lang, ganito na lang. Oh, ulit na naman. Subukan naman natin nung ano, yung sa isa naman choice. Diretso tayo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
With
it
the
mean?
bucket pa rin, syempre.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yes, I'll take the
Warmth
bucket.
spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Wala ka dyan.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Okay.
No, never mind.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, I will not. I will go straight. Go straight ba? Dalawa kasi yan dito eh. Pwedeng dumiretso. Ah, hindi. Dito tayo.
No, said the bucket.
No.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Eh, di ba tayo tumalon?
Said the bucket. But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Sabi ko na nga ba, ikaw tong bucket eh. Diretso tayo. Uy. Boom.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took this seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is.
Educate tayo. Educate tayo. Game. Oh.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds?
90 seconds.
Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is
yes.
Yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, Start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice,
Kailangan
I'm
mo pa sabihin.
Dunny with the funny.
I'm done
Let's
with the
practice
funny.
screaming, I'm Dunny with the funny now.
I'm done with the funny. Practice now.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies
Paano
at
hindi
your
mo malalaman na
disposal,
random
you'll
kung
have
sa gilid
audiences
yung
doubled over in laughter
sunod?
and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Ayun na, in-educate tayo.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Okay, doon na tayo sa ano ulit. Binuksan niya na lang. Hindi niya sinira. Diretso tayo. Balik.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say. How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke.
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Sabi sa inyo siya talaga yung bucket Nagsasalitang bucket to Okay, dito malapit na tayo dun sa ano. Dito sa ito.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
That's right. Makali tayo
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I'd
Dinerecho
made
na
a fool of
natin.
myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think
I
need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
Wag na.
Surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Isa pa.
We're back at the phone already? No.
Ala, yun lang.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket
Pag
came to a
bumalik ka
set
dyan,
of
ganun
two
lang
open
ulit.
doors, they entered the door on the left.
Dito na tayo sa left. Diretso
No,
na
no, no,
tayo.
no, no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be
Sinunod ka
shamed
na nga
in
eh.
every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Wala.
Stanley,
Wala
you
din.
love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No?
Still nothing.
Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale,
Pale
with
with
shame.
Pale.
Pale. What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
No.
Getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Video na naman. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Dito na lang ulit. Please like and subscribe and see you in the next one.